This presentation explains why the Executive Committee of the First Parish of Bolton believes it is imperative that we have an associate minister to supplement our current minister, and why we urge the congregation to approve our proposal. Important truth is sometimes found in fiction. In the Mad Hatter's statement about running just as fast as you can to stay in place has never been more true than today. Most of us probably spend a significant part of every week doing certain repetitive tasks, such as cooking meals, washing clothes, and paying bills. Tasks that we may sometimes postpone, but that we must eventually perform in order to stay functional. Church is very similar in that we must do a lot of things every week just to stay in place, and we must do more if we want to get anywhere. There was a time when staying in place was enough. But the world, and particularly the United States, have changed, and are changing faster and faster every day. There was a time when society supported the way that churches worked, with blue laws restricting what people could do on Sundays, and with traditions that included regular worship. There is a new reality today. With the repeal of most blue laws, shopping is a major activity on Sundays. Sports have also started contending for Sunday mornings, both for adults and especially for children who participate in organized sports. For the many people who are working longer and harder to keep their personal life afloat by working more hours every week, Sunday is when they can catch up on sleep, do the laundry, or earn some overtime to keep the lights on and food on the table. There has also been a phenomenon called the growth of the nones, where people on censuses check none of the above, because many people no longer associate with a particular denomination, even if they sometimes attend worship services. In the past, running a church was relatively easy for a trained professional. Similar to a trained pilot landing on a familiar runway on a calm and clear day, where landing is simply lining things up, setting the controls, and following standard procedures. The minister was once able to simply repeat what he or she had done before with only minor adjustments from time to time. Today, running a church is like landing on an aircraft carrier, which continually moves left, right, forward, back, up, and down. Because landing on an aircraft carrier requires so much dynamic, instantaneous adjustment, there are always two pilots involved in the landing. One pilot at the stick and another on the deck, providing a second perspective and able to sense the movement of the ship and relay important advice to adjust the flight path in real time. In a church, that second pilot is the associate minister. Because retention is as important as attraction, we must be very careful before eliminating anything that people count on being part of the first parish experience. But since our minister cannot be in more than one place at a time, nor see things from more than one perspective at any given moment, we need the capabilities that an associate minister brings. An associate minister will help us to engage more young people, focus on the segments of our congregation and larger community that are currently being underserved. An associate minister can be both where the minister cannot and provide enhanced continuity when our minister needs to be elsewhere. These will ultimately help us to grow our congregation in every measure. This brings us to the specifics of our proposal. We not only propose that we hire an associate minister, but a specific associate minister, B. Manning. B. is well qualified for the position, with significant experience with our congregation, proven connections with our youth, proven experience fundraising with our congregation. We already love, respect, and trust B, which will take time to achieve with any other associate minister. And B already has a great working relationship with our minister, Richard. You may ask, why now? Delaying will incur the opportunity cost of delaying the overall growth that we could be experiencing. And there is a significant chance that if we delay further, B will have become unavailable, which would be a tremendous loss for the First Parish. Our executive committee reviewed the various feedback that the church received over the last couple of years, and after addressing a number of the suggestions that could be handled quickly, have come to the conclusion that the skills of an associate minister are necessary to accelerate the implementation of the additional tasks required to assure the continued success of First Parish. And members of the congregation have specifically requested that we hire B as our associate minister. We have carefully considered the cost associated with calling an associate minister. It could honestly be argued that we cannot afford not to hire B, but the executive committee has given significant consideration to the short-term cost that will accompany hiring an associate minister. A number of anonymous donors have pledged up to half of the funds required. We intend to raise all of the additional funds required and will borrow funds from the endowment only as a last resort. The plan is to have the associate minister be a half-time position with a 9-month commitment. It will be up to the congregation at a future meeting to extend the agreement beyond the 9 months that we are asking for now. The associate minister will work with the executive committee to set goals that most benefit First Parish, with regular reporting to the executive committee, but with day-to-day coordination with the senior minister. Please attend the special meeting being held immediately after worship on June 15th, or submit an absentee ballot. Please contact the executive committee if you have any questions.